All right, welcome back to another episode of Tryp Rapport. On today's episode, I'm joined by Mhanu yet again, and we're going to talk about a place called the Reality Center. It's in Santa Monica, correct?
Yeah, correct. Santa Monica, California.
Okay, yeah, I really wanted to pick his brain on this because I feel like he's been there more than any other of the VWAT members. And what I like about it is there are many different ways to access these altered state of consciousness, many of which do not involve drugs. And so some of them are very difficult, like breath work. It's very taxing, difficult to get to a state of quote unquote enlightenment or altered state with breath work. And then meditation, a lot of people just can't sit still long enough and shut their brain off long enough to achieve that state. So it's cool, some of these other technologies that are being created to kind of transport you into that state. And the Reality Center is a place that I have not yet been to myself. I was really hoping to get there before I got out of California, but hopefully make it up there one of these days. But anyway, welcome again, Mhanu, to the show. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And I really like this subject today about the Reality Center because it's just another way for wellness. But this time using technology without having to use any kind of plant medicines.
Yeah. So did you find it through VWAT?
Yeah. So Colin Wells with Veterans Walk and Talk sent out an invite saying, hey, there's the Century Wellness Center in Santa Monica. They're doing a 22 event, the 22 suicide awareness event. And, veterans are welcome to come and do a free session. I'd like to come out and try this. One of the guys named Jonathan Chia, good friend of mine now, business partner of mine. He's a veteran himself. He runs the center with another non-veteran master Reiki healer named Tyrone, and they're kind of the main operators of the center. And I was invited to come out on this evening and give it a try. So I showed up, and they had a full house. When I first walked in there, it's a very small location. It's Santa Monica, right? It's right there by the pier on 2nd Street. So space is limited, and especially for the amount of money that they have to pay out there. Mm-hmm. But walked in, they had this giant screen with visual, little psychedelic video going on or whatever on this backdrop. And then they had these tables there. Actually, I went into a room where they had one table, and it's like a mineral-filled waterbed with vibrational speakers underneath it, and then also vibrational speakers on top of it. And so, would you like me just to get into my experience and what it was like?
Yeah, talk about the tech and then what your experience was when you were actually, using that tech.
Okay, so I'll back up with the history of this. What I got explained is a gentleman named Don, who was a chemistry major back in the 60s. And he used to, when LSD was legal, he used to make a bunch of LSD and, drop LSD all the time. Him and his buddies loved taking it. So they made a devotion to make enough LSD where they can go on a journey every single day for a full year. And that's exactly what they did. And they loved the effects. They loved, the dimensions and the way that they were thinking and dimensions and the different realms they were going into. But they knew after a year of taking so much acid that it wasn't good for the body because, obviously it's a chemical, right? And so he wanted to invent a machine that can replicate all the effects of psychedelics or of taking acid, but without actually taking the acid. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what he did, man. And he finished this machine about 2 years ago, got it patented, got it out there, and now up and running. And so the machine, it's all technology, man. And if you want to run a full-on session, what they would do is you would go in the room with Tyrone, the master Reiki healer, and he would ask you a bunch of negative and positive questions for about 30 minutes or so. And what they do is they record your voice. And to my understanding is when they record your voice, when you're talking into a positive manner, the decimals and the frequencies in your voice change to a higher level. When you're talking about negative stuff, the decimals and frequencies go into a lower vibration. Okay. And so when they're recording your voice, their program is able to distinguish what's positive and what's negative. And whatever is negative, they scrap it, throw it away because it serves no purpose. It's negative. And then everything that's positive, they take that back into their program and they feed that back into you. So they feed your own positive vibration back into you by forms of light, vibration, and sound. And so You would lay down on this mineral-filled waterbed with these vibrational speakers underneath it, your feet and your hands touching these speakers as well. You get a dolphin that has a speaker inside of it that goes on top of your chest. They put a nice little blanket on you to keep you warm. The mineral-filled waterbed is also heated. And then you get some headphones on, and you get the strobe light about 6 inches away from your eyes. And what they're doing is taking your own positive frequencies and putting it back into the machine. And the machine can put you, because they know what frequencies and what to put into you with forms of vibration, sound, and light to get you brains in the different brain waves, right? You know, the alpha, the theta, the beta. And so in terms of what's happening, the minute you close your eyes, you go into a journey, man. And you can open your eyes and get right off the table and you're right back out of it, right? So there's no couple of minutes, couple of hours of getting in or out of it. No, it's immediate. Mm-hmm. So when you lay down on the table and they're injecting your own positive frequencies back into you, it's all done simultaneously. So the noise, the light, and the vibration all goes off at the same time. Mm-hmm. And as a kid, have you ever looked through a kaleidoscope?
Yeah.
All right. So the minute that you close your eyes, it's kaleidoscope patterns happening behind your eyelids, like instantaneously. And they ramp you up real slowly, and then it kind of goes higher and higher and up and up and up. And the first time that I did it was that 20-30 minute introductory session. And gosh, man, I had the biggest smile, man. My smile was from earlobe to earlobe, and I just started bawling. I mean, and these are just tears of joy. I've never had so many tears of joy come out of my face, man. And when I got off of this table, I was like, what just happened, man? Like, whoa. Like, I got to see just a slew of things from my past to my future to, I mean, you name it. You're dreaming, but you're awake, right? And so it is very profound. And, you know, ever since my first experience there, I've gone back probably more than a dozen times. Not only that, recently I became a partner, because I really feel that this technology and this form of healing is really on the forefront of people that are scared or don't want to dabble into psychedelics, right? Yeah. And so since psychedelics are also still illegal on a federal level, you know, legislation is starting to change around the country. But there's no one state where, you know, ayahuasca or psilocybin is legal on a federal level yet.
Right.
And so these guys are actually working with the Department of Health of the state of California. They're working with the Veterans Administration. They're working with some of the hospitals around in Southern California, you know, to get their technology out there, man, because it is one of the greatest technologies out there, man, that really does a lot of good for anybody's well-being. And so once you get done with a session, man, it's not like, okay, it's done, it's over, you know, now, and you got to come back every single day. No, this stuff stays with you for a while, man. It's like, you know, you can tell yourself these positive affirmations during the session when you get recorded. And then when they inject that back into you, it's like this stuff, this positivity stays with you for weeks to come, you know, so it's not something that you need to do every day or every other week. You know, you can do it once a month, once every couple of months. And so this is a great alternative for people that, you know, they're scared because of the legalities of psychedelics or just, you know, people in general that are just not familiar with natural plant medicines. And so this is a great way to go in there. And I take a lot of people into my house. I help people heal in all different kind of modalities. And a lot of times when people come and show up here to California, especially from out of state, one of the first stops that I take them is the Reality Center. Mm-hmm. Kind of just where we get started. And I have never met one person that had a bad experience. I think if you go look at their Yelp or their Google reviews, man, it's nothing but 5 stars. It's different for everybody. Like you're able to connect with your past, your present, your future. Like people are able to connect with the loved ones that they've been missing for the last 6 months or 6 years or 60 years. Mm-hmm. You know, I've met so many people in that center, man, that just walked out of there just like with eyes wide open, like, wow, like how did this even happen? You know, and then just the personnel down there, they take such good care of you, man. They They're, you know, like not only is Jonathan a veteran, so he can, you know, relate on that aspect, but, you know, Tyrone, he's a very gentle guy, man. It's just, he's one of those people when you talk to him, you know, and it's like, wow, man, his voice is very comforting. I had 2 Marines come from out of state, man, and came and stayed with me for a few days here a few months ago. And I said, we're going to the Reality Center. And one of the guys, I think he's tried mushrooms like once when he was drunk or something at a party or whatever, right? But he's a Texan, right? So he's a pretty American guy, you know, and like he don't believe in none of those drugs. And so we walked into the Reality Center and laid him down on the bed, man, and he closed his eyes and it started, right? And I said, the minute you close your eyes and it starts, it takes you into like almost like a different realm. Mm-hmm. And this guy jumped right off the bed right away, took the headphones on, and said, what the fuck is this? I ain't doing this shit. What the hell? No, what is this? And Tyrone just went back up to him and just put his hand on his shoulder and he said, listen, brother, I know this can be a little bit different than what you're used to, but trust me, man, like we got you, you know, we got your back, man. Just, we highly encourage you lay back down and finish out this session. And, you know, and he was able to be convinced and he laid back down and he did a full-on session for about 45 minutes. And by the time he got off the table, man, he was like, wow, bro. He's like, I felt like I have 20 years since I got out of the Marines. All this anger and depression and all this rage that was holding me down deep, deep, deep down inside of me. He's like, I felt like 80% was just lifted. It just came out of my body and I feel so much lighter. I feel like, wow, thank you, guys. And I mean, he was just so grateful and he was so thankful, man. And he just, I mean, he was mind blowing, man, like that, you know, like that this technology was able to do this, right? And he was able to actually go deep, you know, and since then, man, I mean, we're getting a lot of exposure now, you know. We had KTLA News come across the floor about a month ago, and we got all these news outlets coming across the floor and doing pieces about it, and nobody actually gets to say anything about this unless they actually go through it themselves first, right? And so they know what they're talking about. And same thing with all these reporters, man. Like they all, and we got celebrities coming across the floor even, man, that all have nothing but great things to say about this. So that's why I decided to invest with these guys and become a partner, man. And they see, you know, the level of enthusiasm that I have, you know, for helping heal veterans and just anybody in my community. I'm a huge advocate for this place, man. I've taken my kids there and have taught them, you know, what it's all about. And yeah, I can't say anything bad about this place, man. It's all positive stuff, and I highly encourage anybody to go check them out, man. Santa Monica, California, off on 2nd Street in the Reality Center.
Man, I'm so intrigued. It sounds amazing to me. And like I said, I wish I had gotten there before I left, but that's like just a reason to come back, like to go check that out. For the average person coming in there, what's the average length of treatment for somebody doing the full-blown thing, recording, going through the process? So length of treatment and then cost per treatment for somebody walking in there.
So I would say the length of treatment is we can do it about an hour, hour and a half, you know, because they don't really try to rush anything, which is another great thing. It's not like, hey, come in and get out, you know. It's like once you're done and you want to integrate a little bit and talk about it, like, you know, they got a room there, you know, a nice, comfortable room with good ambiance and where you can sit and actually discuss what, you know, you just went through. So I would say take about an hour and a half of your time. And then there's just different kinds of, they have different pricing for, you know, different people's needs. So the session that I just described, which is on the mineral-filled waterbed with a full-on session and having the voice analysis and stuff like that, I believe that's a $249 session. Okay. But then they also have something a little bit less than that. Like they have something for $199, which instead of laying on a mineral-filled waterbed, you lay on it's like a massage table with vibrational speakers. They have group sessions, so like if you want to go in there with a couple of your friends, and which I definitely recommend that too, because when everybody goes in, everybody brings this different type of energy. And if you all four of you do it together, like I just did with the guys from Fasalia, they came down, and my girlfriend for the first time, all four of us went in together last weekend. You all get to raise the energy in the room, right? And so it's just different packages for different people. Veterans, they definitely get a discount. And then we have a couple of events a couple times per year for suicide awareness with veterans, where we offer free sessions to the veterans. All you have to go do is go online and just apply under the menu where it says a 22 event, and then just apply a DD214. And then next time there's an event, you'll get an email and it'll tell you the time, day, and location. Like our next event is September 10th. What we're doing is we're running 22 veterans through there, and then afterwards we're taking them next door to the Italian restaurant and then taking them out to lunch and then just talking about their experience. For anybody that's listening to this, if you want to give back to the veteran community, and if you're patriotic and you want to see one of these veterans go through here, what we do fundraising, because it is quite expensive to run all this modern day technology and equipment and take care of these people. So if you want to sponsor a veteran, go to the website and donate anything from $100 to whatever, however much money you can spare. And they also have a 501 status set up, so we can write your receipt, for your donations, and any money that you donate towards a veteran goes directly back to the wellness of a veteran. So I highly encourage you, if you want to donate anywhere, donate to the Reality Center.
That's awesome. So if you were to have the group of 4 people go in there, like you said, I'm assuming that would be on the massage tables rather than the mineral bath table.
Right. Yeah, we did. We just actually about a week or two ago, we just got a second room finished up with another mineral bed in there. So now we actually got 2 of them. So we're just trying to expand and get bigger. But I mean, everything, especially with politics and, and money and that sort of thing takes time. So, but yeah, if you go in as a group session, you would definitely go on the the massage table setup.
Gotcha. And how has your experience differed between being on the mineral bed versus the massage table?
I feel like I go a little bit deeper on the mineral bed, just because, less gravity. It's not as hard. You kind of feel like you're floating around a little bit more. So it kind of takes a little bit of those sensories away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the mineral bed a little bit better, but I mean, it's all whatever I can afford at that time.
Okay. Do they have multiple locations, or are they trying to, or is it just right now only in Santa Monica? Is this tech available elsewhere?
It's currently only in Santa Monica. I mean, obviously we'd love to expand and get out further, definitely looking hopefully on a location on the East Coast, somewhere in the near future. But, I mean, everything has to be about funding, The Reality Center doesn't spend any money on marketing. Our marketing is word of mouth. It's still a very small company, and what we're just really trying to do is get into the wellness, really trying to get into the Veterans Administration, get into the hospitals and, where really people, need it the most.
Yeah, cool. I think my last question for you is somebody who has had experience in the realm of ayahuasca, DMT, psilocybin, LSD. How would you say, because you said you close your eyes and you see kaleidoscope. So, I mean, it's similar visuals. I guess you could call them like kaleidoscope when you're on psychedelics, but how would you say the visuals differ in the Reality Center versus a traditional psychedelic?
So kaleidoscope is more 2 to 3D, right? So like I would say Reality Center is more visual in a 2 to 3D aspect, while on psychedelics you're more in like the 5D, right?
Okay.
The 4 or 5D. So it lets you go deep inside yourself. So it really, like, I mean, however big your mind is and your imagination can be, right? Mm-hmm. But I would say the Reality Center is a lot more gentle, right? It's a lot more controllable. Like I say, I mean, you can jump off the bed if you don't feel like you like it,
Okay.
Versus, you drink a cup of ayahuasca and like, you got to ride it out.
Yeah. Cool, man.
Yeah, so I would definitely take 2D, 3D, 4D, 5D. That's the difference.
Gotcha. I mean, I think that covers everything on my end. Yeah, thanks so much for sharing this. I think this is a powerful tool for people who aren't quite ready to take the dive into the psychedelic realm for, kind of getting a better grasp on their mental health, because I think there's something about being able to go inside yourself, and I don't know if you consider it meditation or whatever it is, accessing this other side seems to be the best way to unprogram the flawed programs that are within this body. And I think that that's the biggest thing that's necessary for restoring mental health, not just popping pills or, even talk therapy. I think it's kind of useless to an extent. Like, you need to get in there and you need to do your own work on yourself. And I think this is very cool that there's now a quote unquote technology that allows you to do that hacking without having to take illegal drugs.
Yeah, it's definitely a good alternative, in my line of work, some of the people that I come across, that have never taken psychedelics before and they're just too scared to do so.
Yeah.
At the moment, hey, the Reality Center is the first stop that I send them to.
Yeah, I think this is a good fit for a lot of people I'm thinking of in my head right now that I'm stoked to be able to send that way.
Yeah, good, man. Send them our way.
All right. Thanks again, brother. I really appreciate you sitting down with me yet again and able to finally get this whole over the phone podcast, dialed in. So stoked. And there's no one I'd rather have figured this all out with.
I appreciate it, Sean. Thank you always for getting me on your show, man. And I look forward to the next time.
Hell yeah. Love you, bro.
You too, brother.